Blogtalk Radio.
Hello, everyone. I am Leonna Brandao, host for Blogtalk Radio, Shedding Light. I am going to be introducing to you today a special guest who is into Moorish history and ancient religion, and his name is Tarhaka Amaana El Bey. He will be speaking on ancient religion, Moorish history, and much, much more. I want to say, too, that I have been studying races and religions for so long, and I find it fascinating because so many people depend on schools of theology being taught by man rather than looking in and doing the research to find out about these various religions that everybody's talking about. And we can see what's going on in the world right now with all of the wars between Israel and Hamas, that these people that are focusing on one side do not know the history of the other side. It's always good to learn about histories throughout the world and cultures because there are too many wars going on because people do not have facts. They do not have the full meaning. And I encourage everyone to do your own research into all of these issues, all of these Bibles, all of these religious entities. And again, Tarhaka will be talking about one major one that he is very familiar with, has actually been able to substantiate, and we'll be talking more about it now. So let's welcome our guest again, Tarhaka Amaana El Bey. Tarhaka, are you on with us?
Yes, I am, sister. I'm right here, and I'm ready to go.
I want to thank you for being on. This is very important to me, and I'm sure many others. One of the things is I believe in good and evil, and we have that we're living amongst now in this world. So I want to know more about the ancient religion and the Moorish history that you are familiar with.
Okay, well, you have booked me up for this Saturday and the next Saturday and next Saturday after that. I think we booked up until the 4th of November.
Or the first of, I think it's the first Saturday of December. So okay. This is going to be a series.
Yeah, I'm going to take the first thing that I'm going to deal with here is religion itself. And one thing that we have to understand about religion, this is an ancient practice. And you will discover that all religions have attachments. All religions have attachments. The first attachment that religions have is belief. You must believe in that religion. The next attachment is they have something attached to the religion called God. The third attachment is all religions have literature attached to that particular religion. And the last attachment is fear attached to that religion. So now, I'm going to give you a breakdown on each one of these attachments. Let's deal with the first attachment called belief. Now, when we were born into this world, we are faced with the law. The law states that when we are born in, during our journey in this life, as spiritual beings having a human experience, we are supposed to do as much good as we can possibly do for as many people until we reach the grave. We're going from the cradle to the grave, keeping the law. Now, when we are born into this world and we begin to grow up as children, we'll run and play and skip, and if we eat too much candy, our parents give us a little working medicine and so on and so forth. But overall, we're generally happy, we're excited, we're running, we're playing games, and until somebody one day takes us by the hand and takes us to a church or synagogue and introduces us to religion. Okay? Now, keep in mind, first attachment is belief. And when we use common sense, we know that inside our physical body, our bones are inside, our blood is inside, our circulatory system is inside, the brain is inside the skull, the two teeth are inside the mouth. Everything is inside. But when we're talking about religion and belief, now we are talking about an external attachment. Something for you to believe in externally. You follow me? Okay, the next attachment we get to is called God. Something that we don't know, we never seen him, don't know anything about him. We have to assume, based on the external religious concepts that's given to us externally. Keep in mind, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We're going to get to the spiritual part, but I only want to touch on the attachment. All right? Now, the next attachments to all religions is the literature. When it comes to Christianity, we have the Bible. When it comes to Islam, we have the Quran. When it comes to the Catholics and so on and so forth, they have their literature. Buddhism, they have their religions, literature. And so this thing goes on and on and on. And keep in mind, this is like ancient practice, and this is external to you. This is something that you believe in. Now keep in mind, everything about you is attached to you and internally to you. So what we must do is realize the significance of our true spiritual selves and begin to deal with our internally. We're going to believe in something, then we should believe in us, opposed to dealing with something external. We're going to get down into that. The last one is fear. All religions have a concept of fear. All of them got this God thing going. And what is amazing and astonishing to me is all religions have the same devil. Amazing. And if you, according to the religious concept, you have to do this, that, and the other, or otherwise you must live in fear of going to a place called hell, and you don't know where it's at, you don't know what it's about, you don't know nothing about it, but it is constantly thrown at you as part of the religious concept. You follow me? So I often ask people, okay, you are a Christian, or you are a Baptist, or you are a Methodist, or you are a Presbyterian, or you are a Catholic. But what I want to know from you is if you are walking down the street coming toward me, and I'm walking coming toward you, once we meet, what does your religion require you to do once you come in contact with me? What does your religion require you to do? And you will discover that a lot of people can't answer that. Now, let's deal with you in your community. And someone comes from someplace else into your community. In your community, all of the people that you know of or familiar with, all of them attend the church down the street, which is a Baptist church. But all of a sudden, here comes another family that moves into your community, and they are holiness people. Keep in mind, same external situation, religion, same devil, same God, but different practices. All of it is external. All of it got the same fear, and that's wrong. Now, the dangers of belief. Anytime you allow someone to get you to believe in something to the extent that you are willing to strap a bomb on your physical body and walk into a place where there are elders, women, and children, and innocent people, and holler, Akbar, and push a button and explode, killing yourself and killing everybody around you just because of what you believe, not internal. Somebody told you this. And back in World War II, we had what you would call the kamikaze pilot, where the emperor told the pilot, said, what we want you to do is believe in your culture and your people and stand up and do what you have to do and give your life for your people, to the point that the pilots not only shot at the ships, but they drove the planes into the ships, killing the enemy and killing themselves in the process because of what they believe. It is quite extraordinary, and belief can be quite dangerous, not only to you, but to other people. But when you start dealing with your true self and your true spiritualism, and now we move into the area of mathematical equations, true spiritualism. Now this is what you were born with. Keep in mind, we're going from the cradle to the grave, doing as much good for as many people as we could possibly do. When you draw a square on a piece of paper, all four corners of that square is at a 90-degree angle. When you add those four squares up, which is a 90-degree angle, you get the number 36. 4 times 9 is 36, but 6 plus 3 is 9. If you draw a triangle, now you officially at a 60-degree angle. 3 times 6 is what? 18. But guess what? 1 plus 8 is 9. If you draw a circle, you now officially 360 degrees is a circle. But 3 plus 6 plus 0 is what? 9. If you cut that circle half in two, now we're at 180 degrees. Once again, 1 plus 8 plus 0 is still 9. If you take all numbers from 1 to 8 and add them all up, you come to the number 36. 3 plus 6 is 9. If you add all of the digits up, 1 through 9 this time, you come up with an equation of 45. 5 plus 4 is back to the same 9. There are 1,440 minutes in a day.
Add it up. 1 plus 4 plus 4 plus 0 is what? 9. There are 86,400 seconds in a day. Let's add it up. 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 0 is what? 9. There are 10,080 minutes in a week. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 plus 0 is what? 9. There are 525,600 minutes in a year. 5 plus 2 plus 5 plus 6 plus 0 is 9.
Tarhaka, can I ask a question? I just want to interrupt just for 1 minute. What you're talking about right now is very confusing, and I wish that we could talk more about the the ancient religion and the Moorish history without going into all of this mathematics, because I don't know if the audience or anyone is going to understand it. And when we do these shows, we try to do it so that this is what happens in politics when we have politicians speaking. They speak over the heads of the poor and middle class. A lot of them don't understand it, and when they talk more to people at their level. So I'm just suggesting so that the audience will be able to understand some of this, because everything that you just said went way over my head.
Okay, well, Susie, if you give me a chance, I'll explain it. All you had to do was just give me a chance. That's all you had to do.
Okay.
Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that when it comes to your spiritualism, everything adds up. The equations won't go wrong until you start dealing with an external source. And in this case, we're talking about religion. Keep in mind, religion is an ancient thing. Now, the mathematics that I just read to you, this is part, and just a very, very small, minute part to what is called Moorish science. I am a Moor. And all of this information is already inside of you. You can bring it out once you start dealing with your indwelling spiritualism. Anytime you allow somebody to come into your country or come into your community, they're going to bring their culture, their customs, their food, their good habits, and their bad habits, stuff that they have been doing all the time in their community. They're going to bring it in your house. So if you are dealing with true spiritualism, which is your indwelling, you got a little voice inside of you that talks to you. It tells you, turn left, don't turn right. Or turn right, don't turn left. Don't do that, but do this. But what people have a habit of doing is they have closed off the indwelling spirit and replaced it with religion. So at this point here, sister, I would like to ask you, if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have before I go on.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You can just continue. Thank you.
Okay. So as you can see, based on the information that I have given you, when it comes to outside influences, everything has to be investigated. I'm in Florida. If I get in an automobile and I say, well, I'm going to drive 10 west and I'm going to go into Texas. When I get to the border of Texas, I stop the automobile, I get out the automobile, and I go over to the border patrol. And I ask them, if I cross this border and I go into Texas, do you have jails and prisons in Texas? Yes, we do. Do you have policemen with guns and badges in Texas? Yes, we do. What he has just told me is that the government in Texas is corrupt. That's what he just told me. If I asked him, do you have jails and prisons? And he said, no, we don't have any of that. What about police, guns and bags? No, we have no need of that. He just told me that we have what we can truly consider a civilized government. The laws, the real organic law, has only 2 points. Do not take the life of another human being, and do not destroy the property of another human being. That's it. That is the law. That's the only law that you have to make sure that you have to fulfill from the time you were born into this world and to the time that you are ready to leave. But we have all of these attachments. We have attachments to government. We have attachment to the state. We have attachment to the county. But all of it is rooted and grounded in religion and religious belief. The very foundation of it is rooted and grounded in religion. And once you do an investigation, you discover that. Now, I've taken the Bible and read it from cover to cover 3 different times during my lifetime, and then turned around and took an extensive college course, but I still did not get the answers that I was looking for. I was looking for my people in this thing. When I got to the New Testament, it took me a long time, because lo and behold, one day I found a book, ancient information called the Emerald Tablets. And I can take the Emerald Tablets and lay it side by side of the New Testament. And the Emerald Tablets is dating back over 30,000 years. And there it is. Same words that was taken from the Emerald Tablets now appear in your New Testament. We're not asking the right question. A lot of times we are afraid to ask the right question. We're afraid of the answer. We won't use common sense. If you use common sense tell me, how is it humanly possible that could be somebody named James, Joseph, John, Jeremiah, Jesus, Jehovah, so on and so forth, going backwards in time, started in 2,000 years ago, going backwards in time, when the alphabet J wasn't created until the middle or latter half of the 16th century. We won't ask these kind of questions because we don't want to know the answer. But there it is. You don't have to take my word for it. Just look it up. Totally incredible, but it's all a part of religion. So we have to say, well, okay, if we got the religious literature, where did it come from? And why is it that religion is the most damnable heresy on the face of this planet? More people have died and killed and murdered as a result of religion than World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War put together. All because of religion. But we all still full steam ahead because we believe, keep in mind, externally, we believe that if we don't have some type of religious concept in our life, that we're going to go to a place that we don't know nothing about, and we'll be tormented forever and ever because this is what your religion says. The same type of concept in all religions all across the planet. All you have to do is do an investigation on your religion and pay close attention to your belief. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to believe in something, why don't you believe in you? Have you taken the time to learn everything you possibly can learn about yourself, your customs, your culture, and your ancient story? And people who look like me, you discover that the majority of people who look like me in this country that you're calling the United States of America did not come from Africa on a slave ship. We was already here. Matter of fact, I just put a video about that this morning. Just put it out. Started 4 o'clock in the morning. It'll last you an hour, 28 minutes. so you can hear it and see it for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it.
Tarhaka, can you let the audience know how they can see that video that you're speaking about? Where they would go, and also if you have a website or anything that you want them to go to look some of these things up, can you just announce it to them?
Okay, well, my website is tarhakadeadelimination.org, and what I'm going to do is take this video and convert it, and that way I'm able to put it up on YouTube that will contain all of the information, including your information, Sister Leonna. And I will be able, now the video has not, that I did this morning, has not been posted on YouTube, but it is on Facebook, and for those who would like a personal copy of it, all you have to do is go to my website at tarhakadeadelimination.org, fill out the contact us form, and I'll send my pre-recording. I'll also send a copy of that video so you can see it for yourself. See, I'm not an African. I didn't come from Africa, and the majority of my people didn't come from Africa. I asked my mother and my grandmother's sisters is still alive. We live a long time in our family. I say, well, y'all never told me about when we came here on a slave ship from Africa. They said, what are you talking about? We didn't come from no slave ship from no Africa. We always been here. Your great-great-grandfather had his own land, stretching 40 your eyes to see. He had 12 sons and 9 daughters. They had horses. They had fruit trees and vegetables. They had their own cows. They had their own chickens. They didn't need to go to the store for nothing. They had everything that they needed. We have always been on this land. Always. And so that prompted me to do an in-depth investigation, and lo and behold, it was correct.
Now, when you talk about your parents being here already, are you saying that they were in the United States already? Because going back to the very beginning of the Bible, the United States wasn't existing. It mentions, I believe, the United States was one of the last to come up from the ocean, or at least be formed. So when your parents or grandparents were speaking about being here already, they probably were here already because their ancestors were brought over or came over.
Well, that is the common misconception. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It is incorrect. Look up the word Louis Agassiz. Matter of fact, that's only a video. You don't have to look it up. You'll be able to see it for yourself. The
Agape means love, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Louis Agassiz. The Americans was the first to merge from the water. See, we have been given misconceptions about a whole lot of stuff. That's why I'm here today to begin to dispel the myths in a lot of people's minds. I do not use the Bible as a history book for anything. I want to get a hold to the tablets of the ancient records that they created the book from. That's what I want, and that's what I deal with. You'll discover that we have already been here. We supersede everybody. When the so-called Native Indians came to this land, was brought in and put on this land, the government of the United States asked them, did you build the mounds in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama? They said, no, we didn't. It was already here when we got here. Uh-oh. Africa enjoys over 640 plant species for food. Out of the 640 plant species, 600 of the plant species come from the Americas. Now, the only reason I'm saying this is because this is what I can prove beyond any shadow of a doubt. We've been given we've been miseducated, or given what we think is education, but in reality, it was indoctrination. masquerading as education. That's why it's imperative for us to do our own investigation, turn over every rock and stone. The oldest archaeological remains of human beings were found in the Americas, not in Africa. I live in Florida, 40 miles off the coast of Florida in the Atlantic Ocean. We got a 400-foot high pyramid. We got the same thing off the coast of Bimini, the Bimini Islands, down south, which means there couldn't have been an Atlantic Ocean at one time because you can't build a pyramid on the water. You had to build it on dry ground.
Now, have you ever been to Africa?
No, they've been trying to get me over there for the longest.
Well, I have
trying to get me to go there.
I have been to one of the African countries, and the plants that you speak of, the plants that they have there would not survive in the United States. None of them.
Well, these are African plants. But what I'm trying to tell you is America shipped over 600 plant species there. Now, I got a sister that lives in Florida City. When you go there, that's right out the back door of Miami and right at the front door of Key West, right in between. When you go there, you see plant species there that you don't see nowhere else in the United States. The only place you see these plant species is on the continent of Africa. So we have been given some misconceptions about geography as well. See, there's a whole lot of stuff that we were supposed to be taught in school that we were never taught. You were never taught the art of mating in the school system. You were never taught the art of money in the school system. You were never taught the art of war in the school system. There are many, many things that you were never taught that you should have been taught. See, I was supposed to be taught when I got, before I left my home and went into kindergarten, I was supposed to be taught about my ancient ancestors. I was supposed to be taught everything about my body and my mind and my spirit and how to use it. By the time I got in the first grade, I was supposed to be taught how to handle power. But we were never taught that. It was far removed from us. If you're going to be educated, then you're supposed to learn how to handle power. There are things that you can do with your mind and your body that they don't want you to know.
You know what, I believe in a lot of, there's a lot of things that happen in this world, a lot of things that are going on in this world that are still unknown to the human body. And they talk about, like in ancient history, they talk about, like in science movies and the history channels and things like that. They talk about things that are happening in this world. They talk about UFOs, and that's in the actual Bible, in the book of Ezekiel chapter 1. But there's a lot of mysteries that are unknown to everyone, and it seems like revelations are happening all the time where it's starting to come clear that there's more to the Bible than actually the Bible itself. And I always thought that because a Bible fits in your hand, the palm of your hand. So we know that, like you say, 2,000 years of history is not going to fit in one's hand. But at the same time, there's a lot more to this whole thing that you speak about. And it could be, and I'll tell you, I helped a young woman one time. She was Lebanese, Egyptian, and Persian. She came to this country, actually came from the Middle East all the way into Canada. And she was crossing the border when she took a ride with a truck driver. And he tried to rape her, and she ended up in prison. But I tried to help her one time. She was telling me that there was existence before God created the world. There were people living at that time, and she spoke of something about the Egyptians. Now, the Egyptians has a lot to play in the Bible, and it wasn't good because they say the Egyptians enslaved the Israelites. But at the same time, there's much more to a lot of this than we fully understand. And when you speak about a lot of these things, it's possible because there's so many there's so many dynamics that go into biblical times in ancient history. But I just feel that the United States, I don't believe. Then again, you say you believe in it, and you can substantiate a lot of this, but I just don't believe that the United States even existed back then. But I will say when the United States did come into existence, it was built off of Africa. It was built off of the gold and the diamonds and the silver and a lot of the things in the Middle East. So it's very complicated. It's very sensitive. But I like to learn about these things because I like to try to do my own research following all of these discussions to find out more about it.
Well, I'll say it one more time. I don't use the Bible for any type of reference of anything when dealing with our ancient stories and history either, because we're talking about two different things. Our ancient story is one thing, and his story is something different. What I deal with is the places and objects that they actually got the information from in the beginning and put in the book. I don't want any secondhand information. I want the right information that can be verified. What I'm talking about now, because see, once again, we have what is called education, which is nothing more in all of our school systems throughout the entire United States, is nothing more than indoctrination. Because the first thing that I was supposed to be taught when I went to school is my identity and my ancient culture and all of the magnificence that came behind that. And my ancient story in this hemisphere, on this land. I'm absolutely indigenous to this land. And this is what I can prove beyond any shadow of a doubt. You follow me? I'm not, Africa is one wonderful place. But there's treasures here that is being covered up. There's information that's being covered up. The ancient people that you call it Egyptians and Sumerians is all over the Grand Canyon. You got pyramids in Kentucky. You got mounds and pyramids all over, pyramids in the ancient Sumerian civilizations, the Egyptian civilizations that you call it Egyptians, those such people, that's straight from Florida all the way to Cuba. But our story in this hemisphere is being covered up. Somebody else is wearing your clothes. Somebody else is benefiting from your identity on your land. The books are open now and the information is coming out. And they're trying to shut it down. The governor of the state of Florida, he's trying to remove our story out of the classroom, out of the school system, because the truth is coming out now. I didn't come here on a slave ship. My grandma didn't come here on a slave ship with nobody else. We're absolutely indigenous to these lands. This is my home. We have always been here since the beginning of time. That is what I can prove. You listening to me? What I can prove. I'm not telling you about what I believe. I'm telling you what I know for a fact and I can prove.
You know what I found fascinating when I was in Africa was, especially in Ghana, all the streets, there's so many streets that are named after the streets in the Bible. And the names of the people there, you have Isaiah, you have Ezekiel, you have Ruth, you have Deborah, you have David, you know, Paul and Peter and Mark, you know, all of these biblical names. And again, it was all supposed, the beginning was all supposed to have started in Africa and the Middle East when it was all one continent. And it seems to have spread. But talking about what you're talking about now, I know people migrated to other places, but when you're talking about a lot of these things, there had to be other islands. There had to be other land elsewhere. Now that I think of it, because people did migrate to other lands. So after the flood, though, when the Africa and the Middle East divided, where did all the other lands come from? That's something that I will have to do in my research again to find out more about that.
Well, I tell you what, Susan, you come out better, and you're taking a magic seat on the train and the plane if you start just put Africa to the side for a minute and start doing research on your story on these lands and in this hemisphere. Learn about the sister, Queen Khalifa, the Queen of California, where he got the name from, and the King of Cuba, and the first original inhabitants of the Philippines, and the first original inhabitants of Asia and China. All of them look just like you. Do your research in this hemisphere. Start home. Before you go out to save the world, make up your own bed first. That's where to start. Do the research.
I believe all religions have a piece of the Bible, a piece of the truth. And one of the unfortunate things is people in this country, religious leaders especially, they don't come together to actually research and come out with their findings and let the people know after they come together as one, trying to research to find out what the truth is. Because I believe there's truth in what you're saying, but I also believe there is truth in the Bible as well. Because people, a lot of these things that happen in today's time were already predicted in the Bible. Even right now down to the presidents, or they call them kings in the Bible, but right down to the presidents now that they talk about going off into destruction. They talk about in the final days, in the hearts of many growing cold, and the things that happen, people being proud and boastful, and all this conflict, and they talk about a lot of things that are happening right now. So I believe that if they came together and talked about all these things, and as a unit came together and explored and talked about some of these things you're talking about, and some of the things I'm talking about, they could probably come to the truth and then let others know. I've been involved in many religions, including I've been in a mosque, I've been in a synagogue, I've been in different churches, various churches from Catholic to Pentecostal, Presbyterian, all these things, and a lot of similarities in areas, but they don't look at one another. They talk about one another's religion, but they don't look at the similarities to bring these things together to actually find out and then share with the people. It's not about division. It's about exploring, researching, and pulling it all together and coming together to talk about it, as you're doing right now. You're talking about a lot of these things, and it's something that's it will be in my mind, and I will be, doing more research on it. And that's what they all should be doing.
Well, sister, let me ask you a question, because I told you about beliefs and attachments and external versus internal. Could you tell me what it is that you believe and know for a fact and you can prove about yourself?
When they talk about when you talk about external, I think of energy, and a lot of times people say, if your energy, if you use your energy for positive, think positive and be positive, then that's showing energy that's going to reflect positivity in your life. But if you use that energy in a negative way, it's going to bring negativity in your life. I've tried both ways, and I'll tell you, sometimes I get so discouraged because nothing goes my way, and it just seems like there's nothing out there and no one out there. So I've actually sought a higher power, and that's why I believe so strongly in our Creator, our Master and Redeemer, our Most High and Most Holy One, our miracle worker. I believe in it because I believe that's the only one, the only being that got me through all these years. And you mentioned Jesus, the J word didn't come out till many years later. I don't believe that Jesus is his real name. In the Bible it said Emmanuel, but we don't know the true name of Jesus, the Christ, but we do know that he is the Christ and that he is going to be coming back to destroy all this evil in the world. I strongly believe that. And I believe right now it's getting ready to just for that to happen. Because the Jewish and the Arabs at war the way they are. And everybody expects the world to side with the Jewish. Well, the people that are against the Jewish right now, their countries, their people have also been afflicted. Their people have also been destroyed and oppressed. So what it is these two religions or these two cultures coming together at war. And we should, and I say we should stay neutral because no one knows the truth. And what you're talking about right now, what I'm talking about right now when it comes to religion, we don't know one another's religion to actually take sides or you know, be critical of either country. But in the United States, that's exactly what they do. Our government wants everybody to side with them. And we see what's going on with our government. They can't even come together themselves, but yet they want everybody to think, walk, act, talk, hear, see like them. And it won't happen. Not in my time. Not with me.
Okay, I want to ask you a question again. Could you tell me and the listening audience, what is it that you believe and know for a fact and can prove about yourself?
I believe we're on a planet where there's been other people in past times on planets. It may not have been this one, but it has been on others. I believe that there are spirits, evil and good spirits, amongst us all in this world. I believe that someday we're going to see it for ourselves. But I've had experience, things happen to me that are unexplainable. And I never told anybody because people would think I was crazy. My sister, one of my sisters, saw the same thing I saw. And I never even told her until years later when she told me. And I said the only reason I haven't told people is because I think they would. I took a picture with 3 of my sisters not too long ago. And this is another thing that happened. One of them passed away, and they came to see me before she passed away. We took a picture together, the 4 of us. And when the picture came out, I was nowhere in the picture. And some may say it was a default with the camera or whatever. But one of my sisters had her arms around my waist. And in the picture, her arms could be shown around something. But I was not in the picture. Another time when I was like 13 years old, and we were upstairs in our bedroom, there were 3 white figures hovering over me, and I threw the sheets over my head. My sister told me years later exactly what she saw, the same thing, and I never told anybody. When I was in Africa, I was in a taxi or a car, and there was one of my volunteers was in the back seat with me, and a woman appeared between the 2 of us, and it was like I was alone in this car with her, and she was talking to me. And when she got out of the car, she said, "I will see you again." I've never seen her again. But these are the kind of things that have happened in my lifetime. So I believe in spirits. I believe there's something more to this world, to this society, than a lot of people believe because I've experienced it. And I can't explain any of it. But I know that something is about to happen very soon. And I can't take sides with anything because I don't know enough about the spiritual aspect of what's around us. What's within us, what's above us, what's below us, I don't know.
Okay. Well, you mentioned earlier in the broadcast about UFOs, and I'm here to tell you I've actually seen them. I come outside and got my chair to sit out in the front. Beautiful day, nice and cool temperature just right. And I happened to look up in the air and I saw this craft slowly moving across the sky, headed toward the south. And I said, "What is that?" And a neighbor 2 doors down was on her way up the sidewalk to talk to me. And I stopped. I said, look up there. I said, "You see that?" She was looking. She said, "I don't see nothing." I said, "It's right there. Look, right there." She said, "There's nothing there. I don't see that." I said, "Okay, all right." Now, after the incident happened, I had another young lady, her and I were dating. And one day we walked out the front door, her and I, and we were standing up in the front yard, and she pointed up in the sky. She said, look, right there, look at that thing right there. And I'm looking up, I said, I don't see nothing. She said, it's right there, it's right there. She said, oh my goodness, you don't see it, it's right there. She said, it's right there. I said, all right, calm down. I said, I know you see it. I said, because I've seen it too. I said, they have the ability to let you see and me not see, or me see and not let you see.
No.
I said, so calm down. Calm down. Now, after the craft passed on and went behind the trees, all of a sudden, here come 3 F-10 Tomcat fighter jets coming behind it. I mean, they flying, going behind it. I said, y'all might as well slow down. And you ain't going to catch that. You ain't going to get that. So just
they've actually there's been, and I was watching it even earlier today, but they've actually said that there's been, since January of this year, there's been over 500 sightings of UFOs. But one of my brothers was in the seminary for 4 years and years ago, and he was in, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. And a lot of the people that were there, they saw the UFO at the time. So UFOs have been spotted. And the government for a long time was keeping it hidden, but now they're saying that these UFOs have so much technology that they are more advanced than even the United States of America. They're more advanced than any of the countries in this world, and I believe it.
Well, the truth is, we got these beings. They are here with us. They have always been here, even in ancient times. They have underground cities, underground bases. They are up under the ocean. There have been sightings of them coming up out of the ocean in Japan, and almost capsizing ships coming up out from under the ocean and going down, back down in the ocean, and all of this stuff is being covered up. The government has been down there. They have made contact with them. We're at the Roswell incident. They have gotten a hold to bodies and all kinds of stuff, but the government keeps this away from you because you are engaged and involved in indoctrination, which is masquerading as education. They're withholding stuff from you that you should have known ever since you was in elementary school. But they're not going to give you that, because in order for them to give you, if they give you that, then they can no longer rule over you. If they can get you to believe that you are someone else and that you came from someplace else, they'll rule over you for the rest of your natural life. And you never will see the light. You will always live in darkness. And this is why I'm telling you to do an investigation on your culture and your ancient story in this hemisphere. Take the Bible, put it to the side, put Africa over to the side with it, do an investigation down in here and see what you come up with.
My culture, I don't know. My culture is really strange because my mother, she was Lebanese. My biological father was African American and Indian. My adoptive father that adopted me at the age of 10 months was Cape Verdean. And I have, my culture is very multi because my half-siblings, my relatives, they all intermarried. So we have just about every race and religion in our family. But the thing is, it's my mother's people kind of like had this. My mother, when my father died, my mother, prior to his death, had a dream that we were in a church, and one of my sisters walked out of the church, and my mother went looking for her. And when she went out of the church, she never saw her husband, my father, again. And it was just shortly after that he ended up in the hospital with a massive heart attack, and he ended up dying, and my sister went missing. So it was a long time. They found her. They had the helicopters and everything, but they found her, and she had a premonition that he was going to die, and so she kind of like went off into some daze or whatever. But there's a lot of things that happen that people reminisce about, or they see something that happens before it even happens. And I think everyone is capable of having those type of experiences in this country and around the world. And they were talking about the Bermuda Triangle the other day, and they were talking about how these UFOs, they feel a lot have powers not only above but also beneath the waters. And they seem to have thought that the UFOs have something to do with the things that have been going on with the Bermuda Triangle, as well as other things that have gone on underwater. And I wanted to say real quickly, these UFOs, since they've been talking about the sightings of the UFOs, if you notice, there's been a lot of activity happening up in the air, in the planes, people becoming aggressive on the planes. A lot of these planes have been crashing, or they've had to land them. There's a lot of mysterious things that are going on in the heavens since all of this talk about these UFOs. And I strongly believe that there are UFOs, and I strongly believe a lot of things are happening as a result of these UFOs. And it was just a couple of weeks ago when I heard a lot of noise in the sky outside of my house. And when I looked out the window, there were birds flying all over. It was like a couple of hundred birds, and they were confused. They were all flying one way, and some of them were turning around and flying back in the midst of all the others, and other people were out there looking at it. So I don't know what's going on, but I strongly believe that right now the air, and look at these fires in Canada and Hawaii and all of that, those fumes from those smokes, they say have been traveling in the air. So a lot of people now are actually having respiratory problems as well, including me. I've never had problems like that. But something is in the air, and a lot of people are starting to experience things as a result of these things. So when you talk about a lot of this ancient religion, I think a lot of it plays into today's activities as well.
Well, yeah, what we are experiencing, if you think about the mathematics and stuff that I just gave you on this broadcast, that's akin to the actual movements of the planets in our solar system. And this type of stuff has been going on for eons. This is not new. This is ancient. When it comes to your culture and your story in this hemisphere, this is why I keep pointing that there are a whole lot of questions that could be answered for you. You will discover that there's a book that was written by a man. His name is Horace Butler, and he wrote a book called When Rocks Cry Out, and he gives you the ancient story about the different people and kingdoms and stuff in the Americas. And he said that 95% of what you think happened in Africa did not happen there. It happened in the Americas. And this is what is being covered up. Even Martin Luther King told us in his I Had a Dream speech. He said the Negro is languishing from one end of America to the other. He is exiled in his own land. All you got to do is go back and listen to the speech. Malcolm X came along and said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
If we were born and raised, or if we came from this country, then we actually, what you're saying is that we came from Babylon. And I'll tell you, Africa, if Africa is not our continent, if Africa is not our continent, then who got that blessed continent? Because that continent may have a lot of countries, and they may have a lot of poverty, but that country is a strong, that continent is a strong continent. And anybody that was born on that continent should be proud. But the problem is, around the world, they have this saying, the grass is always greener on the other side, when you haven't been there or done it. And that's what's happening right now. People think that America's so great, when in fact America is a Babylonian country, because everything about America has been destructive to anybody of color, and it's been destructive to its own lower class and middle class people, but they don't realize it. And they're going to, though, because this country will show its true, it's going to show its true colors. It's already starting, dividing other countries, getting involved in other people. Instead of trying to get them to negotiate, they're up there trying to encourage them to become more bitter and powerful and destructive. And that's what it says in Bible. It's going to be destruction. It's going to destroy this world. So there's a lot of, I believe there's a lot of religions out there. I believe we don't realize it, Tarhaka, but I believe your religion, I believe in my religion, I believe in a lot of religions. Right now, they're all out there together, and everybody doesn't realize. They all think that it's only their religion, just like people around the country who have loved ones in prison. Every state is saying that their state is the worst for abuses and tortures and life sentencing and all this. It's not just one state, it's every state. But everybody has to realize it's happening in all the states. So they have to come together, bring all their knowledge, experiences, bring it all together, and try to figure out ways that we can stop it all. There's more than one religion. There's more than one belief. You know, look at the Muslims. They believe in Jesus. They believe that Jesus was a powerful prophet, just like Muhammad. And Christians believe in the Christ Jesus. Some believe he's God himself. Some believe he's the Son of God. He himself said he was not God. He himself said, my Father. He said, no one knows the day nor the hour when all of this is going to come to destruction. Not the angels nor the Son. Only the Father. So people have a misconception of the Christ Jesus. They have a misconception of religion. They don't even know, but they listen to people who are learning from man instead of doing their own research. And when I say research, it goes beyond just the Bible. It goes deeper into religion. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of things like what you're talking about. I believe in a lot of what you're saying because I know there's more to the Bible than what we're reading about. A Bible that fits in our hand is not telling what thousands of years have told.
Okay, you remember at the beginning.
I was going to let you finish, but what I was going to say is we're going to have you back on next Saturday at 7 o'clock. I just want the audience to know next Saturday, Tarhaka will be back with us for episode 2, and he will be talking more on what he's talking about now, including the Moorish history, and that's something I'm very much interested in hearing about.
Okay.
So once again, Tarhaka, you want to finish up what you were saying, and also, again, please let the audience know how they can contact you or where they can go to see your website. You said you're on Facebook as well, so if you can let them know that, that'll be great.
Okay, you can reach me on Facebook at Amaana El Bey or either Tarhaka Amaana El Bey, and you can. My website is tarhaka.elimination.org. That's TARHAKA debtelimination.org. And you can just fill out the contact form, and I'll rush you my free report, and I will also send a copy of the video that I did this morning. And let me recommend some books to you and some authors. One book is The Historical Origins of Christianity. And at the bottom of that book, the author, Dr. Walter Williams, makes the following statement. There's never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form, race, creed, or color by the name of Jesus Christ. Now that's spectacular. He also wrote a second book called The Historical Origins of Islam. There's never been a prophet by the name of Muhammad in Islamic tradition, is his footnote. I like to recommend those two books, including When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler. And you also want to look at the works of Louis Agassiz. And in the video that I did this morning, that I'm willing to give you a copy of,
we're not only going to deal with us in this hemisphere, but we are also going to hear from an African. He's going to be in the video and tell you exactly what I'm trying to tell you. But nevertheless, that's the information that I would like for you all to take a look at. Just for starters, I don't have a religion. I don't practice any forms of religion at all, none whatsoever. I deal with what I know for a fact and I can prove, and my beliefs are internal where they belong. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. We are in the fourth dimension, and I'm fully at home with this.
And that is Tarhaka, Tarhaka, Amaana, Amaana, Bey, Bey. And you can later or tomorrow find him on the internet under Tarhaka Amaana El Bey, speaking on ancient religion, Moorish history, and more. It will be on the internet tomorrow, and many of you have received it through the sharing of the links that I sent out to everyone. And Tarhaka, again, I believe in a lot of what you're saying, and I believe in spiritual. You know, sometimes I think if we put our hand out, put our arm out, and we're say in a doorway, half of that arm is going to be in the spiritual world, and the other half is going to be in this current world. That's what I believe in. I don't know why, but I know that we're living amongst a lot of spirituality, and we're living amongst the spiritual and the worldly. And I believe someday that we're going to be pulled right into the spiritual realm of all things. But again, I want to thank you for coming on. I look forward to next week so we can hear more about this. And you already gave us the information, but I'm also going to try to look up some of the information you said, maybe not today or tomorrow. I have some crisis going on this week, but I will get to it, and I will be looking forward to your coming back on the show next Saturday at 7 o'clock. Thank you so much, Tarhaka. This is a very interesting topic, and I really want to know more about it. So we look forward to having you next week. Audience, Tarhaka Amaana El Bey will be back with us, and I hope all of you will look into what the links and everything that he said he sent out to you. And if you haven't heard it, you can play this back again, and you can get all the information. Once again, it'll be out there for everyone to listen to. Again, thank you for listening in, audience, and we're now going to end this episode. Again, Tarhaka, thank you so much.
You're welcome.